Morny, who is next?
Let's go with Dark Lord 45. He's one of the new members. He was asking about how to get in here from Twitch, so I'm going to pull him up.
All right. Dark Lord, how you doing, fam? Dark Lord, can you hear us?
We do have his question, so I can go ahead and ask it if he's AFK right now.
I'm not sure if Dark Lord can speak.
Well, to that end, while we're figuring that out, his question is, do you think there's a Pantheon for every power in the universe, and why have we not seen ones for disorder, light, life, void, etc.?
I do, actually. Even though we haven't seen them, you have to understand, Dark Lord, that we haven't really explored many of the other cosmological forces. If you think about the chaos, for example, or disorder, not really chaos, but disorder, the demons, all we've seen of the demons is their excursions into our realm. We've never been inside the Twisting Nether. We don't know exactly what the hierarchy of the disorder realms would look like. From what I can guess, the reason we've never seen the pantheons of disorder is because things are happening exactly as they had wanted them to happen. The demons are spreading disorder the way that it needs to be done. They don't care that that Sargeras took control of the demons. As long as the demons keep spreading disorder, they are perfectly happy with that. There's also another option. Okay, so maybe first let's just talk about why there almost has to be a pantheon for each of these. World of Warcraft as a game, the idea of opposites and balance seems to be incredibly important in World of Warcraft. Almost everything in World of Warcraft has a counterpoint that is supposed to keep it in balance. You can see from both the Chronicles as well as from the Shadowlands book. It's been the Grimoire of the Shadowlands. It's been. Can you pull Dark Lord back up, Moni? He left the channel and came back in just to see if it's working now. But it's all set up to be counterpoints to each other. Dark Lord, can you hear us now?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
All right, that's great.
Yeah.
Now.
All right. So as I was saying, and I'll get you to make your points as well after this, but it's all set up to be counters to one another, to work against each other. So it wouldn't make sense that there is a pantheon for order and a pantheon for death that we know about right now, but there's no pantheon for any of the others, especially since we now know that there is most likely a zeroth realm for each of the cosmological forces. We know of Zeroth Mortis, that is the origin realm for death. We know of Zeroth Ordis, which is the origin realm for order. So clearly there must be a Zeroth realm for each of these. That Zeroth realm would have created some kind of pantheon to ensure that everything remains within balance. Now, the other reason we may not be able to see all of these other pantheons, or why we haven't seen them, it may be that they are locked out of our universe. So much like the veil that separated the Shadowlands from our realm, if the veil was never broken, we would never have been able to see any of the Eternal Ones. Because even Zuval, who clearly disliked a lot of things, never made his way through the veil. He never came to the Great Beyond. Maybe because he can't, or because they have no interest in doing so. But it is possible that all of the other pantheons are stuck on the other side of the veil. And it may even be... Now, this is where we get into, I think, some big brain speculation. We were told that Sargeras, after killing demons over and over and over and over and over again, realized that they kept coming back. All right? And then he built a prison world for the demons. The prison world, of course, being called Mordoom.
Mordoom.
Yeah. And then eventually he broke open the gates of Mordoom and all of that foul energy splat in his face, like a perfect money shot. Pawn would be proud. and Sargeras went fucking ape shit with the power of foul. Now, since then, we learn that Sargeras had anchored the demons to Argus, and we are told the reason he has done this is to speed up their creation. But what if the reason he anchored the demons to Argus was to keep the demons away from the demon lords? So from the Pantheon. You see, because when demons
The Pantheon
die,
of disorder.
yeah, when demons die, they go back into the Twisting Nether, into their origin realm. Now, think of the Twisting Nether almost as the in-between.
Veil?
No, the Twisting Nether is the in-between of disorder. And then somewhere in the in-between lies the realms of disorder, much like the Shadowlands. And when demons die, they return to the Ardenweald of the realms of disorder. In other words, the realm that rebirths demons into reality, so to speak. But the reason Sargeras had to block that and instead tie demons to Argus, because the demon lords would not have allowed for their demons to keep dying effectively in the pursuits of Sargeras. And so in order to shut them out, he changed where demonkind goes when they die, in order to basically yield the ultimate power. So what if it had nothing to do with speed, but rather to do with the actual ability to keep control of his demon armies? And this is why we've not seen the Chaos Lords, because they can physically not come into our realms yet. And of course, we haven't gone to their realms yet, so we wouldn't have been there.
Just like with the Void Lords can't come into our realm.
Exactly. The Void Lords had to push old gods into the Great Beyond because they themselves cannot exist. And what's interesting is...
If the old gods are actually a part of the Void,
yeah,
and not
of course.
Azeroth.
Of course. I'm going off of what is now considered to be established lore, not necessarily what we speculate could be bullshit, right? Because there's so much that suggests that the old gods are not part of the Void. But if we are to believe the Titans, the Void Lords pushed essences of themselves into the Great Beyond, which birthed the old gods, so to speak, right? When we saw a Void Lord coming into our realm, it had an incredibly difficult time sustaining itself within our realm. So what if that is the price that you pay when you cross over that veil? So that's why they don't cross over the veil. Because once they are on our side of the veil, because the veil that exists, the anchor keeps pulling them back. So we thought that it's a Void Lord that comes through, and the Void Lord feasts on the literal sort of essence of what is there in order to anchor itself. But what if that's not actually the case? So the Void Lord breaks through the veil, but it's still anchored to the other side of the veil. And the veil that was set up was designed never to be breached. So the anchor keeps pulling the Void Lord back through the veil. But in order to stay, the Void Lord then has to anchor itself to the planet that it's now sort of, attacking. But that anchor rips the planet apart. Because this anchor on the side of the Void is constantly pulling to get it back in. This is why we don't see Eternal Ones or, the Titans or the Lords of Chaos or any of that. We don't see them in our realm because the veil doesn't allow that. They're not allowed to come through. That could be the thing, right?
Yes, that's true. What about life and light?
Same thing would be true there. If the veil exists for death, then that veil almost certainly, and for void, then that veil almost certainly exists for light and life as well. The bigger question we have to ask ourselves is, why are the Titans on our side of the veil and not
exactly
on the other side of the veil? And then who built that veil? Could it be that veil?
Probably the
was-
first ones.
Yeah, but here's the problem. Why would the first ones build a veil to keep the champions of the different cosmological forces out of reality, but then not allow or not put the Titans on their side of the veil as well? Why would they let the
Unless
Titans
it was
be on
the
our
Titan
side?
who built the veil.
That's the question. That's the thing. What if it was the Titans that built the veil?
So they would be the only ones in our reality, and they
Yeah.
could control everything.
Exactly.
And they have no competition.
Yeah. Remember Xal'atath's words. Xal'atath says, "Have you asked the Naru about the eternal conflict, about those that came before the Draenei?" In other words, we are now. So Steve
There was
Denuzer,
another race.
but Steve Denuzer explains it as follows, right? Steve Denuzer told us the cosmological forces aren't working together. They're not allies. They each want to
hell
control
no.
the universe on their own terms. Sometimes they'll band together to defeat one of the cosmological forces when one of them become too powerful. Now, what if we are currently living through the cycle where order magic have become too powerful? So the cosmological force of order have managed to sort of circumvent the entire universe and have blocked all of the other cosmological forces out of it. And that's why we're now seeing cooperation between the different cosmological forces. We're seeing cooperation between Disorder, between Sargeras that realized the truth most likely, Zuval of Death, and all of them are basically trying to disrupt what Order has done, because Order is taking over, and it's not supposed to take over. There's supposed to be balance, right?
True enough. Yes, you're right. Now there's one goddess we haven't even talked about yet. Elune.
Yeah.
What pantheon is she of?
You're asking a good question, sir. You're asking a question that I have no answers to, because at the end of the day, an initial reading of the lore suggests that Elune is of the Pantheon of Death, because the Winter Queen calls her sister. But then why is Elune on the other side of the veil, when all of the other Eternal Ones find themselves on the sides of death? In my opinion, there's two options here. Option number one is that Elune is of none of the cosmological forces, and that Elune is actually something entirely different, but that Elune told the Winter Queen that they are sisters, so as to not have the Winter Queen ask too many questions. Because, well, why would the Winter Queen question it? She was born in Zereth Mortis, she comes out, she finds Elune. Elune says, "Hey, sis!" And the Winter Queen goes, "Hey, you were born probably there as well, just before me. Never mind, it's all good." Right? She's not going to ask questions. Why would she question it? The other option is that Elune is actually a first one.
That was exactly what I was just thinking.
Yeah. Elune is a first one, and Elune, she doesn't want anyone to know, because it's clear that the first ones didn't want their children even to know about them. Not even the Eternal Ones are allowed inside Zereth Mortis. Zereth Mortis is sacred. And so why? I mean, it's not like the Eternal Ones doesn't know about the first ones. They know that they exist, but clearly they're not allowed to. They're not allowed to go back. So if Elune is indeed a first one, there's a chance that Elune didn't tell them because they're not allowed to know. There is another option, and this is one that we discussed yesterday during stream, which is a brand new theory, but I think has a lot of merit. Elune is actually the child of Azeroth.
Yesterday. Ooh.
Yeah. That Azeroth had a child. That child is called Elune. And that Azeroth is fighting back for her dear life against the... Against the... Shall we call it... tyranny of Order.
That is an awesome theory. I had not even thought of that one.
It's partly inspired by, as Saven Raven said there, by the book Folks and Fairy Tales, because there is a story in Folks and Fairy Tales that basically they believe it. Now, the problem with folks and fairy tales, of course, is that it is fairy tales, right? It's just stories that they hand down from generation to generation, and we just get sort of insights into that story. But there's enough sort of circumstantial evidence as well, just in the reading of the lore, to suggest that Elune has a very close connection to Azeroth, far closer than anything to any other realm. Especially since Elune finds herself within, she lives at least partially within the Emerald Dream. And if I'm correct, the Emerald Dream is literally the dream of Azeroth. So the Emerald Dream is considered to be the perfect dream of Azeroth. It's what Azeroth should look like without any interference from the outside. But what if that is a misnomer? So it's not the perfect dream of Azeroth as in what it should look like. It's literally the dream of Azeroth. It's what Azeroth dreams. And so her child resides there in order to ensure, and that's why she helped Aenar to sort of order the dream to ensure that Aenar doesn't destroy the dream of her mother.
That is a good theory. That is an awesome theory.
I think so. I think it could be really cool.
Yes, it would. Oh, by the way, I just watched your video you just did about the Drathyr and the Black Dragon. That was an awesome video.
Thank you.
And that is going to be interesting. That end part, that is going to throw a story going on in Dragonflight right now out the window. That's going to mess a lot of people up with a quest that you got to do.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's gonna change the lore of World of Warcraft quite heavily.
Oh yeah.
If that happens, and it is true, and it is gonna happen, I think a lot of people aren't ready for that. But I'm so excited for it.
But let's just say it will throw someone's name into the hat of something.
Oh yes.
And that's going to be very interesting. Because I think there's already 3 contenders. One that doesn't want it, but I think would be the perfect one. But if this is true, this would actually usurp him.
Yeah. If this is true, and if what she says is true, then she is next in line.
Oh yes, and a lot of freaking people, including someone who came from Outland, is going to be very PO'd.
True. Although I have to say, fuck him. I don't like him. I don't
either
at all.
I actually now Rathian I do like. In fact, I made a Drat here that's black, and I actually named him Wrath Pun, as close as I could to Rathian.
Nice. Yeah, I like
and he's awesome looking.
No,
I do too, but I don't think he's ready for aspect.
No, definitely not. He's
young.
Now. Sorry, yeah?
Now, what's it? Ebonhorn. I could see Ebonhorn. He would be the perfect aspect. He doesn't seek power. He's actually humble, unlike Sibelian and Rathian. They're like freaking cocky as hell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with you there. I think Rathian isn't ready. He's way too young, way too arrogant, and young.
He's still a whelp.
Yeah, it's clear he's way too. I mean, I don't think the Black Dragons will trust him, even if he became the aspect. I don't think they would throw behind him.
And then Sibelian was around Netherian, Deathwing, whatever the hell you want to call him.
Yeah,
and he had the corruption. Ebonhorn, Abyssian. That's his real name, Abyssian. I had to think a minute. Abyssian was cleansed 10,000 years ago of the corruption, but the one you said in the video,
Adamanthia,
predates him. Yeah, predates him over 10,000 years. So that would be before the corruption.
She's
so she wouldn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, she is from the, let's call it the prime clutch of the Black Dragons, because that's where Naltharion comes from. So she can absolutely
she would be the one if they could free her.
Yeah.
And she was fine, 100% help. I could see her taking over as the aspect.
See, well, that's where the question comes in now. will she be fine? She's been imprisoned for 10,000 years, kept
She
in
might not.
stasis. She might
not be corrupted, but she might be crazy as hell.
She might be fucking nuts, bro. Like,
That's
she
the
could
problem.
be very angry.
But if she was not, she would be the perfect aspect. She's old enough. She'd probably be just as big as the other, like Alistraza and Norse Dormu, because if you look at them compared to the other dragons, they're humongous.
True.
Yeah, I think part of that also has to do with being an aspect.
Yeah, that's probably true too. Because if you look at it, they're bigger than all the other dragons. They are huge when you stand next to them at the seat of the aspects. You're looking up and I'm like, Jesus Christ, these things are huge.
Yeah. I just want to say something to people in chat going, oh, but Illidan. The words of Nalfarian isn't just that he will keep her in stasis. It's not just that he will lock her up. It's that she will experience agony like never before.
Never before for years that death would not...
Yeah, not even death will give her reprieve. She won't find reprieve within death. Her suffering will be so great, chat, that all who look upon her will see her suffering immediately and know that she is cursed. That's what Deathwing promised her. So she's not just been locked up. It's not just, oh, I can't move. She's probably locked in there and suffering constantly.
Son of a bitch. Did he do this before he was Deathwing, or?
Yeah. This was probably before he became Deathwing.
This was probably right after I think from the way Akalon put it, this was probably right after them little shorts they released before Dragonflight, when he put the Drat there into stasis before 10,000 years before his supposed actual corruption.
Yeah, it was shortly after that, because she still did experiments on the Drakthir that was in stasis, trying to figure out why their memories were coming back and how to stop that process, right? They were trying to reintroduce the order magic that had kept them in line and basically kept them brainwashed. And then Deathwing sent her a message saying, cease and desist immediately, stop it all. And then her final message to him was that, she begs him not to kill them, not to do all of these experiments on them. They can be reasoned with. They have free will, but they are powerful, and they will follow him if he just asks, right? Basically. And shortly after that, she would have been imprisoned and obviously made to suffer an incredible torment as a result of this.
Okay, here's another question. If we can free her and she's not, batshit crazy.
Mm-hmm.
In the video, you said that Datharian wanted her to take the black dragon magic from the Drakthir, which is why we don't see any with them as the playable characters on the Invokers.
Yeah.
If we can get her without being batshit crazy, you think she could reintroduce the black dragon magics back into the Drakthir?
She could probably. She took it out. There's every reason to believe she can put it back in.
That would be awesome.
And
black dragon powers would probably be good.
That's your tank spec right there.
Yeah. And also with Biden, you can open up a tank. Probably open up a tank option.
Yeah, that's what I literally just said. The black dragon aspect that's been removed from them is their tank spec. And so there's a chance that it was her essence that was used to create them in the first place, because the Drakthir say they feel an incredible connection to her. They don't remember her, but they do feel a connection to her, and one that they can't explain. It's like she calls to them throughout the ages. She pulls on their memories. That to me suggests that she made them. Her essence was once a part of them, and the extraction of the black dragon essence, or the black dragon essence, removed that memory from them, but the traces are still there. So they remember who their mother was, effectively. So yeah, I'm pretty sure.
My question is, But also, since they used her for the black dragon aspect for the draft there, what bronze, red, blue, and green did they use to put the magic into the draft there?
Now that's a difficult one because Nalfarian has always been obsessed with the essence of the other dragons. All of his experiments would involve essence from other dragons. I don't know if it was always done sort of voluntarily.
Yeah.
Right? Given how much
that is also another question.
Yeah, given how much of a friend Malagos was, at least before the betrayal, Malagos
probably could have came from him
of it.
Yeah, Malagos would probably have given it just because. Because
they were such good friends.
Yeah.
If I remember right, Alex Strasza had always been kind of questionable about those in those requests. Because I remember him coming back in Cataclysm, like obsessed with capturing her.
Yeah, well, he was obsessed with capturing all of them.
Everyone, yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
I don't know exactly, right? I genuinely don't know. But I can tell you it was probably not done voluntarily. They most likely... Because here's the thing. The Forbidden Reach is called the Forbidden Reach. And she mentions that she doesn't know if it's shame, but no one may know what is beneath the Forbidden Reach. Now...
Could it be the fifth god?
Well, it could actually be, but more importantly, what it actually could be is perhaps a dragon graveyard. In other words, all of these dragons that he used to experiment. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why it's called the Forbidden Reach. No one can see, because she says shame. Why would he feel shame about the Drakthir? I mean, he's made plenty of other creatures in the past. He's done plenty of things in the past. So it is possible that he decided to build, like he basically hid all of the dragon bones of all the dragons that died due to his experiments. He hid them underneath the Forbidden Reach, and then placed the Drakthir in there as well and sealed it up to ensure that no one would ever find it. That would be like a guess, I think.
But think about this: if the Drakthir at one time had the black dragon magic, can you imagine how powerful freaking soldiers they were?
Oh yeah, of course. She says it herself.
Maybe why he put them in stasis is so the other dragons, when he did turn on them, couldn't use his own creation against him, because all them Drakthir, if they had turned on him, probably could have beat the shit out of him with all them powers.
Interesting thought. Very interesting thought. The other thing it could be, and this is, if Blizzard wanted to do this, that would actually be such a humanizing moment. Because at some point in his missives, in his communications with her, Deathwing says, or Nalfarian at this point still, she says he's angry. Things are going too fast. It's interfering with his plans, right? So something's going wrong. And it's progressing too fast. What if the removal of the Black Dragon essence was a last-ditch effort to save the Drakthir? He realized that he realized that he was going crazy. He realized that the old gods had buried too deep, and that there was no way for him to stop it, and that the connection to Black Dragon essence would have left them susceptible to
corrupted just as well.
Yeah, to the corruption of the old gods. And so he ordered
her a good theory.
Remove the Black Dragon essence so that they are not susceptible to old god corruption. And that was sort of his final act of morality, so to speak, before he completely started losing his mind.
Yeah. Also, I also like to bring up, remember, I think I brought up in one of your streams the other day about Doran's movies, about that little theory about Azeroth being the old god.
Yeah.
Okay. I just watched another one of his that about 4 hours ago. Now he's got one out thinking that Anduin might wind up just like Terrellian. that when he comes back, he'll look really old because he's had 100 years of experience because now he's disappeared and talked about I think a comic they did back in the day where it showed old Anduin as the leader of the Army of the Light.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's been
You know what I'm talking about?
turned as non-canon now, hasn't it?
I don't think it's been officially declared non-canon. People are sort of questioning it because Duralian is there and Anduin seems to be going more soft on this stuff. I don't know if
but he's disappeared now. What if he's hardening himself?
Well, it doesn't seem like he's hardening himself because when he speaks to Sylvanas, it actually seems like he's taking a much softer stance to Sylvanas and to Zuval and to the overall plans that they had. Now that could be just the line in, because if you think about what the Light wants, it wants very similar things to what Zuval wanted to do, only from the perspective of the Light. So it is possible. It is possible. That's all I can say at the moment.
I think we're heading towards maybe not Net's expansion, but I think you've said it before about a Light versus Void conflict coming.
Oh yeah.
I think when Anduin comes back, Turelian is not going to give up that throne, and there's going to be an alliance civil war. I know you're not an alliance fan. I know you're like for the Horde, Sylvanas, all that nice, wonderful stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm more of an alliance person. Sorry.
Sad man. Like that feels bad, but it's fine, you know. It's fine. I forgive you.
I will say that we got a lot of people in the Q&A lobby, so I think we'll have to cut off your questions there. Apologies,
okay,
but
enough.
we just
it's okay. It's okay. I got in what I really wanted to.
Yeah, I really appreciate the questions.
Take on that.
I do appreciate the questions, and you're more than welcome to come back.
Absolutely.
And remember, if you
I'll let. It'll be another day, but I'll let other people get their questions in. But thank you. I'm glad for your time, and I'm finally glad I got to talk to you and got some of my ideas out.
The Dark Lord, I do this because I love chatting to people, and I love hanging out with people, and I do apologize that we have to sometimes sort of cut it short.
It's okay.
But
it's okay. I know.
Everyone
I kind of feel. I had a feeling I was getting a little long-winded here, but it's okay.
When we're geeking out about lore, it's all good. It's all good. Thank you so much.
Yeah, trust me. I don't like having to call the time up. The time is your time is up thing, but just the amount of people we got in here.
No problem. No problem. Y'all take care. Y'all have a great day. I'm gonna continue watching the stream, listen to other people.
Thank you very much, Dark Lord. Really appreciate it.